Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review for you all. This movie is a horror film from the United States, English language, released in the year 2022, directed by Mimi Cave, and this film is called Fresh. So Fresh is about a woman who is single. She believes that she's going to die alone because she's just not having any luck with men. She's going online, she's meeting up with these people that she just doesn't connect with. There's a few humorous interactions that she has to show how unlucky she is. Her best friend is saying, don't worry, the person is going to come, just don't force it. But she doesn't want anything with that, she wants to be with someone now. So she ends up having an awkward interaction with someone at a supermarket. Now this man, although he is awkward, he seems to be someone who she's interested in. And so the two of them quickly have this blossoming romance that turns into something that this woman believes is for her. But unfortunately this man has something to do with him that is far more terrifying than she could ever have imagined, and now her life is in danger. So what happens at that point on is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Fresh. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and so that's what a lot of people don't understand. If someone criticises a movie that they absolutely love, they take it personally and they become very aggressive. But each and every person will have a different take to a different film, and that's what makes the film world so fantastic, is that everyone has a different experience. And so coming into Fresh with an IMDb score that was unusually high, with a lot of votes, it has a 6.7, and so for horror that is actually quite impressive. And so that was the reason why I wanted to see it. Sebastian Stan is also acting in this film. He's an actor that I'm not a massive fan of, but he's been in some interesting stuff lately that no one really talks about. And so having him and that unusually high score behind this movie, that I thought the synopsis sounded interesting, I thought this is going to be an uncovered gem. This is a movie that's going to make me really excited to go out there to everyone and demand that they watch it now. And so having that expectation coming into this movie, this is the reason why I was absolutely gobsmacked as to why this movie has such a high rating. Now again, if you like this movie, then credit to you. If you want to have a constructive discussion with me as to why you like this movie, then please feel free. But for me, being brutally honest, I thought this movie was absolute rubbish. Now the reason why I couldn't really get into this film is because it felt like a Hallmark movie. Now Hallmark movies, they're usually festive, soppy crap that you get in the during Christmas. It's feel-good sort of stuff. It's not real. It's not something that's striving out to make awards. It's just movies that are just cheesy and just really mild sort of experiences. And so the reason why I make that comparison with Fresh is that it had that same Hallmark feel. You have these very attractive actors. Now these actors are playing characters that I just couldn't relate to, because where are the people like me? Where are the ugly people? And so if you don't have ugly people, you have these characters that seem like they're out of Bold and the Beautiful or Days of Our Lives. This is something that I really couldn't connect with, and there was absolutely no chemistry because the script doesn't allow these actors to play characters that actually genuinely liked each other. Everything was superficial, everything was on face value, and because nothing was of substance, I couldn't relate to anything. And so the movie became an absolute bore to watch. And so this is the reason why I don't get that massive score, is because nothing has substance in this movie. The overall themes to this movie are horrifying, and there are some moments that are bordering on being extreme. This movie wants to be that really provocative film, but it just doesn't know how to be that provocative movie, because it doesn't know how to fully utilise the potential of the themes that this movie is depicting. So I'm not going to give anything away, but when you know what's going on, it just had a really mediocre level of boredom to it. And so I just couldn't connect to everything. There was no elevation in the story. There was no thrilling moments that had me on the edge of my seat. I just kept feeling as though I'm watching a Hallmark movie. Is that this is a Hallmark movie that wants to be extreme, but because it's not part of the horror world, it doesn't know what it is to be extreme. It's too scared to really take on the themes, take it by the throat, and really push the boundaries as far as what's decent is concerned. It felt like a movie that was really washed down. It was very pretty to look at. As I said, very attractive characters, very attractive visuals, and so you have that theme of what this horror movie is depicting, and it just feels completely out of place. And the whole film just had that level of unrealistic quality to it that just it keeps you at arm's length. It doesn't allow you access to this world, because I kept feeling as though I'm watching dolls, basically Ken and Barbie. These are characters that I felt a caricature. Therefore these horror themes don't hit you on that realism, and it never feels as though you're watching something that could actually happen. You always feel as though you're watching a movie. And that to me was the biggest criticism of this movie, is that it was boring. And so the overall movie goes way too long for its own good, and nothing really evolves. it always feels like, you know, at the start of the movie, it's exactly how you feel by the end of it. And so it just has no substance whatsoever, and that quality of Hallmark really gets in the way, and it just doesn't understand what it is to be an extreme horror film. And so a lot of people are saying this is absolutely disgusting. There are moments that have you know, the ability to be disgusting, but it just doesn't, as I said, have the balls to really show, you know, the really offensive stuff that a lot of really good extreme horror films have. And so there's not much to like about this movie. I thought Sebastian Stan's performance was mediocre. The performance of the main character, again, I never really related to anything. They were all far too attractive. It just felt like, as I said, an episode out of Bold and the Beautiful, where you've got no ugly people allowed, basically. So discriminating against people like me, you know, the everyday person that doesn't have, you know, makeup, it doesn't have, you know, the unbelievable good-looking sort of aspect to it. But I just felt as though that is what, you know, prevented me from really getting anything from this movie. So the movie does, as I said, it has some moments that I thought were fairly decent, but overall it was just a really mediocre experience that is very, very much overrated. I went in there thinking that this is going to be a good movie, but straight away I had a really awkward feeling that this is something that I would not enjoy, and unfortunately that's exactly what this movie is. Something that I thought was complete garbage. Unfortunately, being, you know, brutally honest, I'm not going to give this movie any love. You know, feel free to have a constructive discussion with me if you like this movie, but for me, just nothing really to it. The end of the movie had a bit of violence, but you know, it's an R18 movie here in Australia, which is the highest rating you can have. I have no idea why it was rated R18. It just felt very superficial, and just the marketing behind this movie also had that superficial quality. So it is about dating and the horrors of dating, but nothing works because it's just far too clean for its own good. As a result of that, I was going to give it half a star, but there were some moments that I kind of enjoyed, so I'm going to bump it up to 1 star, not coming recommended. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, watching movies, and I'll see you later.